Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
If you're looking to streamline your audio advertising buys and maximize your revenue, look no further than Triton Digital's programmatic audio advertising exchange, A2X. The private exchange consists of only licensed broadcasters and top-tier internet radio publishers, assuring the quality inventory and brand safety you can trust. Visit www.tritondigital.com to learn more.
What scares you? Is it a horror movie? Watching a murdering doll slit his victim's throat as hot blood soaks their clothes? Or a decaying zombie eating the warm flesh of its prey? What about a clown? We're all scared of clowns, right? Especially when they return from the dead to seek revenge on their murderer. Or perhaps your fear is more psychological in nature. Phasmophobia, perhaps? The persistent fear of ghosts. Or maybe terraphobia, the fear of monsters. Or do you have a crippling case of thanatophobia, the fear of dying? Whatever your fear is, there's one place you can put your courage to the test. A place that brings in thousands of daredevils a night, hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and is an absolute orgy of brand licenses and collabs. A place that, in my opinion, is the must-scream event of the season. And that's why this week's On Brand is on Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights.
We're all jazzed up, nearly having a cow. You want your favorite show, and it's on right now. It's on brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa.
Yo, I'm Jon.
I'm Marisa. I love it.
Thank you.
No notes.
Thank you. Trying a bunch of new characters and voices tonight. It's that time of year again.
Yeah, we all get to kind of role play with maybe a little fantasy to take to the night.
We're Halloween heads here, I would say.
Sure, I think we get excited about spooky season, as they say.
We've been known to go to I think it's called the Haunted Hayride here in Los Angeles.
Sure, and that was actually on Shark Tank, the Haunted Hayride.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. It was something they pitched.
So this is kind of like a pop-up haunted house extravaganza, and it's in LA, and that's, I think, where it started, but they might be everywhere now. Might have franchised and made it everywhere. But we do like to dabble in the frights. We like to do scary escape rooms. We like to do these haunted houses just to feel in the spirit of the spooky season. I'll tell you, I was in Michael's yesterday. It is not even October 1st yet, as of this record. Halloween is 40% off.
Okay, here's the thing. Michael's, everything's always 40% off. It's only full price for about 12 hours.
I mean, I went in like 3 weeks ago. I was like, full-size posable skeleton, $90. Now I'm like, that's pretty reasonable. Okay, 45, I could swing it. So they might do that artificial thing where they like jack up the price. And we talked in a previous episode about how Michael's Halloween decor was just completely deranged. So now if you're interested in Frankenstein sitting on the crapper reading like the Bolt Times or something, like you can get that for probably like $4.99. And this is my gripe about Michael's employees.
Okay.
They do not care about you.
No.
They do not care about your family or your problems or your crafts even. Dare I say they do not care if you live or die?
I thought you were going to say, dare I say, they do not care about themselves. They care about absolutely nothing.
They probably don't care about themselves either. If you're a Michael's employee, email me, call me, tell me what is going on. Are you okay? Are you okay?
I actually know a Michael's employee, but I feel like that, I mean, maybe there it's worse than other places, but I feel like I'm finding that more across the board everywhere. I feel like everybody, and listen, this is not what this show's about. I mean, it is kind of a rant though.
Yeah, it's a rant.
Because I do feel like places just have less people working. It's harder to get a hold of somebody. That's what was funny about Erewhon when we were talking about the thought design behind Erewhon. And they wanted to put things out of reach so that you would have to ask people. They wanted to have a ton of people working there so that you would always be in communication with them.
I love being in communication with a staffer.
I don't, but I want them to be there when I need them.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, you and me are like, we're old-fashioned gals. We think of like the department store days where you're just being like waited on hand and foot, you know, at the department store.
Right. When I'm going to buy like a pair of pants, I just sit in like a lavishly, like on a velvet couch in like a little room and they bring pants out to me.
Honestly, at Nordstrom, they still will.
Nordstrom, I don't shop at Nordstrom hardly ever, not for any other reason, any reason other than I just don't. It's not on my radar of places to go. But I saw that they had a Cure t-shirt that I wanted. So I went there a couple of weeks ago.
How many Cure t-shirts is enough?
Unlimited. Like there's all, what? I'm wearing one right now.
I know. And you had a different one on last record.
I know. I was like, should I wear 2 Cure shirts? I was like, I wanted something Halloween-y, but this episode actually comes out a couple weeks before Halloween. So I was like, I'm not going to wear a costume today. Anyway, to answer your question, you can never have enough Cure t-shirts.
Sure.
And that's not what I was here to talk about. I was here to talk about how nice Nordstrom was. Like, it was so clean, and the saleswoman,
stunning.
She was very helpful to me. It was.
Have you ever had your foot measured at a Nordstrom? You will never feel more taken care of in your entire life.
I know my shoe size.
Somebody taking your socked foot and placing it on one of those little measuring mechanisms. Slip in the little slider. Oh, not too tight, just right. Let me take a look at this. Okay. Just as you predicted, 8.
I didn't know people still measured their foot.
It's nice. It's nice.
You're headed into your 40s. Like, you don't know what.
Whoa. Heading in implies at the threshold. Honey, I'm taking my time.
What's that? I hear knocking. What is that? Headed into the 40s, and you don't know your foot size.
Did you know when you're pregnant, your feet grow?
Sure. I'm assuming they grow or
they
swell.
They do not go back.
Whoa.
I went from a 7.5, a youthful, perky little 7.5, to a flabby, slabby, drabby 8. All the shoes from my previous life, along with all of my hopes and dreams and aspirations, straight in the bin.
You can't squeeze a little piggies into your old 7.5s.
I try for a certain special pair, but you pay for it.
You go to Nordstrom and you're like, so I'm looking for this in an 8. And they're like, ooh, that's going to be in our internet warehouse.
For postpartum women.
Now, I mean, this is kind of on subject. The little piggies. Do you do the little piggies with your kids?
This little piggy went to market.
Right.
This little piggy stayed home.
Right.
This little piggy got roast beef. This little piggy got none.
Poor guy.
This last little piggy goes wee all the way home. So I always thought market meant like the grocery store.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
No.
I always thought that market, like he was going to buy some Halloween decorations,
get a candle,
get some peanut M&Ms, buy a insulated tote. No, the market. Please tell everyone that doesn't know.
The market is actually the slaughterhouse, which is a perfect word for Halloween.
Right. He is the meat that we will be shopping for.
You do not want to go to market.
And I mean, now that I think about it, now that we've gone through all of it, pigs eating roast beef is a little morbid too. And if we're going to go down that road, have you seen those like Muppets used to be spokespeople for Pizza Hut.
Yes.
And they had Miss Piggy eating pepperoni pizza, which I always found very disturbing.
Quite cannibalistic.
Which again goes perfectly with Halloween. But yeah, I don't as much anymore. I used to really get into Halloween.
You've talked about your Halloween costumes a little bit. You did Barb from Stranger Things. You just talked in a recent episode about your iPod silhouette.
I did. One of the most iconic ones I did was Mayor McCheese. I'll post a picture of that on our Instagram. I did an amazing one that I wish I had a picture of. I did a Fear Factor one. That's how long ago that was. Like Fear Factor was so hot at the time. I literally built a lucite box around around my entire head.
Oh my God.
Like I couldn't touch my face. And I had all these spiders. The top had broken open. And I had all these spiders crawling all over my face. And my face was all bloody. And the spiders were crawling out. Not real. The spiders were fake,
know, but
obviously.
this is just like such a genius idea.
And I had the Fear Factor logo on all four sides. And I was a smoker at the time. So I had to figure out a way to like slime my fingers up through this tiny little crack and like get this cigarette.
And then
fill the box.
The smoke is filling the lucite box.
Which kind of added to the effect, to be honest.
You created your own fog machine.
Yeah. But man, and I was saying this, I don't know if it was on here or somewhere else. I think it was with my siblings. I don't have pictures of most of these, and it drives me crazy because I'm sure someone at that party probably has a picture of that somewhere, but I don't have a picture of that.
You were never cranking on a disposable camera?
No, I wasn't. Like, it wasn't my big... But you know what's funny? The party I wore that to was at my friend Val's, and she had hired someone that does, like, silhouette art, like they sell at, like, Disneyland, so you could sit and have your silhouette done. So my silhouette was literally a big square box, and then the outline of my face inside the box.
That does make you sound really old, that there's no photographs from your Halloween party, but there is a silhouette.
I can't show you an actual photograph, but I do have a hand-cut silhouette art.
1870 is when you were born.
Oh, that's
We used to live in the moment. We didn't care about getting, our little selfies.
No,
No.
I didn't. And you couldn't take a picture with a rotary phone.
You couldn't take a picture with a rotary phone. Let's just say you felt real secure flashing your tits.
Yeah.
That's not going to follow you for the rest of your life.
Nothing did. I mean, listen, I do love technology, as we know. I think I've said on the pod, I'm on according to my phone, I look at the screen 12 hours a day. No, but like 8. It was like an insane amount.
It's a full day.
But it was simpler times. Simpler times. I really struggled for a minute with what I was going to do for Halloween because I like to do like theme things around the appropriate time. Last year we did the pumpkin spice latte and we did Charlie Brown, The Great Pumpkin. If you haven't listened to those, super fun episodes. But
we did in Spirit Halloween.
And Spirit Halloween. Man, I went all out last year. Those were all my shows.
I think they were.
I'm a Halloween head. And let's just say this may not be my last Halloween of this year.
Honestly, bring it on. I love it.
So when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do this year, like nothing was popping in my head. I was like, did I do if you start to think about brands and Halloween, not a lot of things pop in. Sometimes if I'm stuck on what I want to do, I'll put out some feelers to friends. And I got a lot of do candy corn. I looked into it. Like it was pretty boring. Like Brock's Candy is like the famous maker.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like a little snoozy. So I was like, you know what would be fun is Disneyland, because they do like a big Halloween thing. But what I realized is they don't really brand it. Like Universal and Knott's Berry Farm, which we'll talk about, like they have very like brand identifying Halloween events. And that is what it is. Disney just changes Mickey into like Pumpkin Mickey in like August, and it's all Halloween-y, but it's not like come to the Mickey whatever thing.
It feels like I've been to Disneyland quite a bit during that Halloween Nightmare Before Christmassy kind of time, and I feel like they do kind of want to make it feel like regular mainstream Disney, so that your people aren't like, you have to be into Halloween to enjoy it. Whereas if you go to like Halloween Horror Nights, I've been to Knott's Scary Farm quite a bit when I was in high school. That was like a regular thing to do. And it definitely is like, it's a takeover. Like, don't bring your like 6-year-old nephew to Knott's Berry Farm thinking you're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
It's not Scary Farm. You're going to be terrorized by somebody with knee pads and a fake chainsaw.
Was not Scary Farm actually scary? I always assumed it was kind of tame.
No, it was the same thing as Halloween Horror Nights, where it was like people following you around and like jumping out at you and scaring you, which I like.
They kind of had the monopoly on it for a long time before Universal got in the game, but we'll get into that. But the thing about it, if you don't know what it is, and I know it's not in every city, like not everybody can go to one. It's in the 4 main Universal parks, but I'm assuming a lot of people have heard of it. It is a separately ticketed event. So you have they still run the normal Universal Park during the day. You've got your Harry Potter with the interactive wands. You've got Mario Land. And then at night, at the end of that day, they like get everyone out of the park, and it's a re-ticketed event. It's pretty expensive now. I mean, you can go in for under $100, but now, of course, there's all these tiers because like you can't, if you just go in at like face value, you're not getting through all of the experiences.
Wow, that's pricey. And it was the same at the one we would go to, the Haunted Hayride also, where there were different tiers. Like you could pay extra and get in early. And when we went, it was like the ticketed VIP line was like longer than the general admission. So you actually ended up waiting longer. And I remember we were all very annoyed by it.
It's so weird. Everything that just happened that you just said that exact thing, because We have a joke that we make every Halloween, which I was going to say in a second. But I was reading an article and someone made almost the identical joke. And they said, the greatest horror is the long line of guests. And like when we would go to the haunted hayride and like we'd go to buy like a hot dog and it'd be like $42 hot dog. I every year would make the joke, the scariest thing here is the high prices. And I would love to make that as we're walking down a line of people. So
Jon likes to try to catch a little chuckle out of a passerby.
Oh my God. It is my favorite thing to say something shocking or funny and hear people like laughing as they walk past me, as if they think they've caught something that I wasn't aware of when I am the puppet master the whole time. All right. So quick disclaimer on this episode. I was worried that HHN was going to be too thin. Bro.
Buckle up.
Bro, this stuff is dense. There is like a whole Wikipedia page for it.
Wow.
I'm picking like one little piece from like each category. If you want to learn more about HHN, please, I encourage you to visit the Wikipedia page that has been going on for like 20 years.
On your own damn time.
On your own damn time. With us playing in the background, of course. But
Sure.
I mean, they go through every single haunted house that has happened in the last 34 years, every maze, every character.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I'll say Halloween stuff tends to attract a fanatical community.
Bro, you're like so on tonight.
We are synced up.
You're so on because one of the interviews of a guy we're going to get to later, he talks about that. Like the reason that it is so successful is because their fans, like horror fans and Halloween fans are so loyal. And that's why they take it so seriously to try to create these experiences that are so well tied to brands they're already connected to or even their original experiences. Man, you're on point tonight.
I'm here. I'm with you. Honestly, I'm going to be HalloweenHorrorNights.com tickets, VIP passes I'm ready to go.
I've honestly worried that it might be too, like, when I'm looking.
You're worried it's going to be too scary?
It's like a little scary. It's a little scary.
That's the point.
I know. I felt weird doing this, having done it. So I sat at home a couple nights ago. There's different companies that do full walkthroughs that are posted on YouTube.
Of course.
So I literally just sat there and went through like all the haunted houses.
And
like,
you're still scared to go?
I mean, I'm a little scared. I'm not going to lie.
The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for a new job or want a career change? Look no further than Monster.com. Need a little help standing out? Our expert resume writing services will make sure you shine. Want to brush up on your interview skills? Engage with our AI interview prep tool. Want some advice on negotiating your new salary? Visit our salary tools and extensive library of career advice articles, and you'll have all the tips and tricks you'll need to succeed. Visit Monster.com today and take the first step towards your career. Monster.com. Find your right job fit.
Okay, so before we get into the whole HHN, let's talk a little bit about the history of Halloween. Not a lot, but just kind of touch on it, because I didn't know much about it. So Halloween used to be a night, it was very different than it is today. And it used to be this night where young people were allowed to let off steam. It felt a little purgy. Like they were allowed to be a little rebellious and cause a little chaos.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it seemed fun like a long time ago. And they would do things like let livestock out of people's pens.
It was a night of mischief.
A night of mischief.
I like that, yeah.
They would put like furniture from your porch on your roof. They would do like silly little things like that. But then as the century went on, this is in the 1800s, and as the century...
We're laughing, by the way, if a kid put for your furniture on your roof, oh boy, there'd be trouble.
I mean, he's
you
dead.
would not be happy.
He's dead meat.
Oh, that's old man John's house. You can't mess with him.
I would be the guy. They're like, and they would usually focus on the grumpy old guy of the neighborhood, and they would all be coming for me.
My sheep! You kids!
I mean, sheeps were expensive back in the day.
That's true.
As the century went on, the pranks got a little bit harsher. So they would move up to like putting string across the sidewalk so people would fall, like when it was dark outside. They would...
Kidnapping a grandma and leaving her in the woods.
Hanging your grandma up from a tree, turning her into an actual human scarecrow. some of the examples that were recorded or documented, they would pour molasses over church seats or smear paint on people's houses. In 1894, apparently 200 boys in Washington, D.C. like pelted people with bags of flour just to spoil their finery.
Oh, boy.
And then as we move into the 20th century and more Americans are moving from the suburbs into cities and there's more poverty and segregation and unemployment, things take an even darker turn. There's reports of like kids throwing bricks through shop windows and like tagging them with graffiti. And then in 1933, everything kind of comes to a head. And there's reports of hundreds of teenage boys flipping over cars.
Oh my God.
Sawing off telephone poles and starting fires and just acts of vandalism across the country. They cause millions of dollars of damage.
Wow.
And it was referred to as Black Halloween.
It's a good reminder because like we're always kind of looking at the present world and thinking like these are crazy times.
Right.
But then it's nice to know that there've been crazy times.
There's always been crazy times.
I know, but if I was like, I'd be like clutching my robe, like peering out the window, like it's
I know.
pandemonium.
Your car turned over? That's aggressive. I can handle getting pelted with a flower, but not a flower, with flour, but like having your car turned over, that's a lot.
It's a little mean.
So this became like such a problem that some cities in 1933 were like trying to decide if they should just ban Halloween, like make it not something that is celebrated. But there was this whole other collective that was like, you know what? I think we can figure this out. I think what we should do is come up with like activities that keep these kids occupied on Halloween night, and they'll be too distracted and having too much fun to go cause mayhem.
Oh, wow.
So
I would have loved to be on this committee with you.
I mean, let's get started, babe. So one of the things they decided to do was have like neighborhood haunted houses.
Ooh.
So people would create haunted houses in their garages or their basements. And the thought was if a bunch of people had it in the neighborhood, the kids would kind of make a tour around. They would get scared. By the time it was done, they would be tired. They'd go home.
Let's tucker these little rapscallions out.
They're not going to be shooting guns at people or
That's good.
whatever they were doing.
That's
so
good.
that was the plan.
It's fun to think about these, like, the type of boys who would like turn over a car, throw a brick through a window, that they're like putting their hands in spaghetti, being told that it's brains, and just being like, let's get home, boys.
Bro, you don't know how on point you are with everything you're saying right now. That is a perfect segue. So I found this awesome 1937 party pamphlet that was kind of... Pamphlet? Pamphlet. Am I saying it wrong? Oh, no. Is this one of my words? Pamphlet. Why are you both laughing? It's pamphlet. What's so funny? What is it called?
It's not pamphlet.
It's a pamphlet.
Pamphlet.
Oh, pamphlet. Pamphlet. That's how I say it.
Pamphlet.
Pamphlet.
Yeah.
So I found this awesome 1937 pamphlet. And it's kind of giving people instructions on how they can create one of these haunted houses themselves. So it kind of sets the scene for us of the one that they're talking about is called The Trail of Terror. So I'm just going to read an excerpt.
Great.
Excerpt. God damn it. Excerpt?
Yeah.
Good Lord. I'm going to read an excerpt from this pamphlet.
Perfect.
An outside entrance leads to a rendezvous with ghosts and witches in the cellar or attic. Hang old fur, strips of raw liver on walls where one feels his way to dark steps.
Honey, I'm making dinner. Where's the liver? Oh, I got this pamphlet in the mail. I hung them on the walls. Am I bad? Am I a bad dad?
Weird moans and howls come from the dark corners. Damp sponges and hairnets hung from the ceiling touch his face.
Hairnets? Sponges? What's scary about a sponge?
Well, you're in like a pitchback plate.
Oh, so you're getting whacked in the face.
They're like,
by a
you're walking
sponge.
through like a hairnet. It's scary. You think it's a spider web.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, sure.
At one place, Tiger, who is a guard dressed as a dog, suddenly jumps, barking and growling. Doorways are blocked so that the guests must crawl through a long, dark tunnel. And here it is. Here's the climax of this haunted house. At the end, he hears a plaintive meow and sees a black cardboard cat outlined in luminous paint.
That's the big finish. You have a man dressed as a dog?
Should we finish with Robert barking at them? No. I have something better.
I just picked up some new, spiffy, luminous paint that will really knock these boys out their boots.
Margaret's been practicing her meows all week. It's sure to terrify. What's funny is the pamphlet has other suggestions, such as including, so they think that cat is the scariest thing.
Sure.
Include a chair wired to deliver a mild electric shock.
Oh, wow.
And for rich people, and who rents this, rent a creepy and abandoned house to hold your event.
Rent a house?
I got to find out who owns this abandoned house so I can rent it for an evening.
There were less people back then.
Yeah.
So there were more just like abandoned houses.
And then this one sounds kind of fun. Perform an autopsy.
Ooh.
The guests are all seated before a backlit screen with a fake surgery taking place.
Pretty cool.
I thought that was pretty cool.
I have been through, there was a Queen Mary, which is like an old ship in LA, in Long Beach. And they did a haunted thing where they would turn this old ship into a haunted experience. And there was a section of it that it was like you were squeezing through what was like inflated trash bags. It was completely dark. And I remember the darkness was like the scariest thing of all.
There's nothing scarier than your loss of sight.
So I think getting hit in the face with a sponge in complete darkness.
Have you ever been
Have
you ever been in a cave?
No, and I don't like caves.
We used to go to a cave in Missouri, and it was like a normal cave for a while, but then there was a part called Fat Man's Misery that got really thin.
Fat Man's Misery?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Sounds like what you're talking about. Luckily, at the time, I was a child, so I could get through, but I felt bad for some of those big boys.
That's a really miserable night, getting stuck in a cave.
Yeah, caves are crazy.
Man.
So for the next couple of decades, this is kind of the scene of the haunted house. It remains in homes and communities. And then in 1969, haunted houses are going to get turned on their flippin' head.
Can I ask, are we trick-or-treating at this point, or is it just the haunted houses?
Again, you're right on point. So after Black Halloween and this idea of the haunted house came, that is also the same time that trick-or-treating, like parents started to take their kids from house to house and asking for goodies. That is where the phrase trick or treat came about, because the trick is referencing the last 100 years of all the things that those bad boys did.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and for the little ones too, the haunted house, the sponges might be too frightening. So they can go do the trick-or-treating and then let the big boys get the frights.
Yeah, I would probably go for the
candy.
The candy, yeah. Especially back then. I mean,
oh, yeah.
Big sizes and good quality.
A giant Abba Zaba.
Oh. Okay, so 1969, there's this moment, and it's often given credit for starting the haunted attraction industry and making the haunted house a cultural icon. It took over 10 years of planning. It opened on August 9th, 1969, and it is the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland Resort in Anaheim, California. So what made this such a significant moment is it kind of changed everything about what a haunted house could be, right? So up until then, like if you wanted a ghost, you had like a sheet hanging over something and usually wasn't moving and everything was kind of stagnant. And then all of a sudden, like a ghost could be moving through a room. It could be projected. Like a witch could be like this crazy head inside of a crystal ball. And like they had like these beautiful sets and painted everything in like these gorgeous ways, and they had music score, and it was just this like really different thing for people to experience. And it got so popular that it set a single day attendance record of, can you guess? You guys can both guess. Wits and wagers. How many people visited the Haunted Mansion in one day in whatever, the 60s or 70s?
In one day, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. Let's see, 2 people per dune buggy. That's the vehicle. 2,500.
82,000.
Wow.
516 guests.
That is a well-oiled machine.
I learned 2 things today.
Mm-hmm.
That is a shocking amount of people, and your math reasoning is terrible. So yeah, it just became this huge popular thing, and it became a template and kind of jumping off point for these other people to do this, because Halloween and autumn was kind of a downtime for amusement parks at the time. Like, it was getting cold. Customer attendance was going down.
Back to school, the summer rush is over.
So everyone was kind of looking for a way. And of course, Christmas, you're bringing people back with the holidays. That was a bigger thing at the time. Halloween, you have to remember, is kind of not a new holiday, but kind of, it has grown so much in the last 80 years. And this kicks off, like we talked about earlier, Knott's Berry Farm had Knott's Scary Farm. That started in 1973. Six Flags started doing a Fright Fest. Busch Gardens would end up doing Hallow Scream. And then that takes us to what we're going to talk about today. In 1986, Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. Okay, so it's 1986. This is, just to give you a point of reference, Swatch watches are really at their peak of popularity, like day glow things. We love the mid-'80s. And
absolutely.
Universal Studios is like, what the heck? Knott's Berry Farm has like had this for 14 years. They've been the kings of Halloween. We want to get in on the business too.
And Universal Studios has that touch of Hollywood magic.
Yeah.
So let's just say they can knock it out of the park.
Well, let's see if they do.
Oh, no.
I'm not sure how this plays out.
Oh, no.
So they start what they're calling Halloween Horror Nights. Their logo is a jack-o'-lantern that's being slashed in half with a chainsaw. So they're kind of like coming out with their branding straight from the beginning. It's obviously, this is not your grandma's Halloween. It is very different than the event that it is now. They basically had one attraction, which was they turned the Backlot Tour tram into the Terror Tram.
Ooh, that's fun.
So basically, you're going through the tram.
Jaws has a big pumpkin in his mouth. Be cute.
So basically, the Terror Tram is just going through at night, and you've got people jumping out and scaring people, right?
Yeah, that's fun.
So you have a lot of people volunteering at Universal to be the people that are scaring people because this is new, something. Everyone wants to like mix up their job a little bit. If they go around and say, hey, do you have any interest? Like, you can jump out, you can't touch them, but you can scare them. Everyone's like, yeah. And then this one guy does it, and he falls between two of the cars, and he's crushed to death.
No! Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh. Does he haunt the studio to this day?
You couldn't even make it one
Oh, God.
minute.
Well, it's like Halloween lore. It's like just so perfect for a scary movie.
The event was discontinued.
Oh, God. Oh.
A moment of silence.
It's terrible.
All right, so 1991. It's been 5 years since that tragic event in Hollywood. And this time Orlando's like, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to figure it out.
And we're not going to run over any employees.
We're not going to kill anybody. So let's
see.
have a go. Funny that you mentioned Jaws. Their Jaws ride was shut down to be refurbished at the time.
Oh, no.
So they used the queue for Jaws to create their first like haunted space. And they called it the Dungeon of Terror.
Okay.
So basically, for this first event in 1991 in Orlando, it was a 3-night event. They called it Fright Nights because they didn't want to be associated with the tragedy of the Halloween Horror Nights.
That's fair.
And it didn't get a lot of publicity or media coverage, but people really liked it. So they decided to come back in 1992. That time they did rebrand it as Halloween Horror Nights. I think that's a name that they just really liked, and they did want to use that. I guess 6 years in the amusement park world is enough time to forgive killing one of your employees.
You've grieved. You've moved on.
You've moved on. And in that 1 year, it grows to 5 nights, and they have 2 haunted houses, and it's just a big success.
Right.
So then let's cut back to Hollywood. Hollywood's like 1992, the same year. They're like, you know what? It's been 6 years. He'd probably want us to try again. Let's try this again. So they're still wanting to capture some of the autumn business, and they're trying to appeal to high school and college kids because apparently that was a group that they had not really been able to tap into.
Oh, really?
Those guys did not care about Universal at this time.
Not even with a Waterworld show?
I mean,
it says
Beth,
out there yet.
you love Waterworld so much.
God, I love the Waterworld show at Universal. Honestly, stop the pod, get to YouTube, search Waterworld show full HD 4K. Just treat yourself. It'll be the best 30 minutes of your life.
It is a fun show. So all of those things, and the fact that Orlando was having success with their Halloween thing, Hollywood was all in. And they it's instead of just the tram, they have 2 mazes. They did bring the tram back, but they weren't allowing people to jump out and scare people.
Good idea.
It's just a nice, quiet, dark tram ride through the backlot. And then they came up with 16 shows, which is insane.
Wow.
I mean, shows are a big part of this, but 16, on their first attempt seems kind of crazy. There was a Penn and Teller show. They had the Dungeon of Terror.
Wow.
And just a ton of different things. A wild witch hunt, and a club fight, and all these things. Oh, and they also had a Chucky's, it was called In Your Face Insults show, which I'm not a big fan of shows. I've been to a comedy show where I've been insulted before. I don't know if you have before.
No, it seems too traumatizing. I don't think I could handle it.
The freaking worst.
I cannot handle something like that. One time I asked my dermatologist which side of my face was more flattering, which is my good side, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since. So I couldn't handle any commentary from anybody who's trying to get a laugh at my expense.
Well, one of the things this made me think of when I was in college, so when I finally decided I didn't want to be a vampire anymore, it was during my first year of college.
Sure.
And so I had entered college with my vampire jet black hair. And then that first year, I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. Now I want to be Andy Warhol. So I spent a weekend bleaching my hair. And in my head, I was going to leave class on Friday, jet black hair, come back to class on Monday with snow white, gorgeous hair.
And this is you at your sink with a box that you bought from the grocery store.
In Columbus, Ohio, at my friend Megan's house. We were all hanging out there for the weekend. Yes. Box of whatever thing. You're supposed nothing professional, and going from dyed black hair, hoping to get crystal white hair. I bleached for all weekend. You're probably only supposed to bleach for 2 hours, 20 minutes, something like that.
Oh my God, definitely not 2 hours.
I bleached for hours.
Wow.
Chunks of my hair fell out. It never turned white. It became this disgusting orange color. I have a picture of it. I will put it on Instagram. I only have one picture of it, I think. And my expression, it shows everything. I'm I think I'm doing the Roseanne, grab your crotch and make a FU face. My hair looks psychotic. Well, people on campus apparently thought I looked like Chucky. There was this period of college when I would walk, and I'm not even kidding, and I'm not fabricating. I would walk through the cafeteria of my dorm getting my cereal.
Chucky does have beautiful blue eyes like you.
Thank you. And I did wear overalls and a striped shirt.
And carry a butcher knife to class.
I was always holding a butcher knife above my head. No, but I would have my tray of cereal or my hamburger or whatever. And for a week or 2 weeks, I would hear as I'm walking to my seat, Chucky. Chucky. And these groups of bullies would just chant Chucky to me.
Terrible.
It was very traumatizing.
So you think if you had gone to this insult show at Universal that maybe you wouldn't be the best candidate for it?
Or maybe I could have got a job there. Who knows?
Yeah, you think you'd be a good insulter? Hey, Four Eyes. Hey, what, you go to a beard store and buy a beard? That's me insulting Al.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't think I'd be a very good insulter. Maybe better than you. You're a really bad one. But I don't like to make people feel bad.
I don't like to be mean, and I don't like mean humor. That's why I don't generally like prank shows, because I don't like anybody feeling bad or uncomfortable.
I know. I did my whole life. I would really I did like to dance the line. But whenever someone would let me know that I had really hurt their feelings or made them feel bad, it would crush me. I hated that so much. So I also don't like mean humor. So they publicize this event. They're so excited to have it back. It's in the newspapers, and it flops.
Oh, no. Why?
Again. And
16 shows.
16 shows.
Is there anything sadder than an insult comic with an empty crowd? One lady there. Hey, get some friends, you dumb bitch.
Okay. So they shut it down for a second time.
Oh, man. Oh, no.
Meanwhile, back in Florida, couldn't be going better.
Wow.
Every year, the show's getting more popular. They're adding more nights. They make more haunted houses. It's costing more money to get in. It's just like smooth sailing over there.
Wow.
1994, big year for them. Orlando opens the Ghoul School.
Okay.
The Ghoul School, where you go to learn how to be scary.
Ooh, is that just for the general public or?
Yes, everyone can. I actually have my undergraduate was at Ghoul School.
I'm taking online classes at the Ghoul School.
It's also the first year they started using the term characters.
That's really good.
Characters.
That's why we do it, baby.
Those are all the people in the haunted house. Those are the people that are jumping out at you.
Fantastic.
Some other terms that they use that were not from this year, but I just threw them in.
I love terminology from an employee handbook.
I do too. So what do you think a SIF is? An S-I-F.
S-I-F. SIF.
It's an acronym.
Scare. Does it start with scare? Is that scare?
No, quit saying scare.
Skeleton? Tell me.
Stuff in face.
What?
It's the things like we were just talking about. Like, So it's a material that hangs from the ceiling that's going to hit somebody in their face.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Sponges and hairnets.
Sponges and hairnets. You'll probably be able to figure out what this is.
Okay.
What's a boo hole?
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
I think we should talk about that off pod.
What's a boo hole?
A boo hole is a hole that a character's hand reaches out to grab a patron.
I love that you're incorporating characters so naturally. A boo hole is where a character hides between jumping out at people.
Ooh, I see.
So you got to quickly go find your boo hole.
Honey, don't we both?
Sarah, you know where your boo hole is, right? Or they're on the walkie-talkie. Hey, Sarah, why aren't you in your boo hole?
Sorry, I'm going to be late for work. I'm stuck in my boo hole.
I'm too fat. I can't get into my boo hole. No one's going to be scared. This was also the year they introduced scare zones. If you're not familiar with that, that's how Universal really finds a way to use every part of the park.
Sure.
So you've got the houses. Sometimes they call them mazes, but then the scare zone is like on your way to all the houses. Like when you're just like in the park, it's like people are in character and they can jump out at you then, they can circle you, and it just extends the experience.
To me, I look at that map in reverse. It's like if the scare zones are lit up, I'm seeing like where are the safe zones? Because I remember being like chased by somebody with a chainsaw and like ducking into a gift shop, just trying to escape.
Yeah, and it sounds like that in the beginning they were just like, okay, here's scare zone 1, here's scare zone 2. In 2004, they started using areas between both of the parks as a scare zone. 2007, they had a park-wide scare zone, so literally everything that wasn't a house was just the scare zone.
That's fun.
And then in 2008, they started using the front lot of like parking as a scare zone.
God.
Like I'm telling you, they're always trying to find like new ways to keep you on your
Can
toes.
anybody like pop out at you while you're on the toilet?
Yes. There actually one guy, they came up through the toilet.
That's a scare zone indeed, right in your boo hole.
You should use a bidet. I thought this was my boo hole. You just flush them away.
Yeah.
1995, and this is kind of fun and creative. How do you double your experiences without doubling your space? You create dual path houses. So now it became Haunted House had 2 different ways you could go through it, each one offering a completely new experience.
This sounds so fun. I'm dying to go.
Bro.
The bros today.
This is just the bro show. It's not going to last because I hate it.
You're doing it.
I'm the bro ho. 1995 is also the first time that they use what they call an icon.
Oh.
This is a very big term in this world. An icon is basically the like mascot or host of that year's Halloween Horror House.
Was it Elvira?
No, but it was a branded one. It was the Crypt Keeper.
Oh, he's great.
And some people say he wasn't really the first one. You look
do
at
your own research if you care.
You look at the wikis and they're like, well, actually, the Crypt Keeper wasn't first. It was the Monkey Man and blah, blah, blah. But, sure. I'll just say he was one of the first. Okay, 1997. We've got Titanic, of course.
I mean, a Titanic-themed haunted house experience.
Ooh,
that's pretty good.
That's already kind of like, I mean, that would be cool. Like the ship sinks and then all the ghosts like come out of the water. Like first it just looks like steam coming out of the water and then they start to take shape.
They project.
And it's Rose. Wait, she's the only one that lived. It's Jack. 1997. The title of this little part of my research is Hollywood Tries Again.
No. Oh. What is Orlando doing that Hollywood can't get right?
You know,
we have the best talent in the world.
It's
Come on.
us. It's us. We think we're too good for it here in Hollywood.
Oh,
I will say, so I think you mentioned this earlier, maybe off pod. We were talking about growing up. I mean, I didn't grow up here, but I moved here a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a Californian. So like Disney would always seem like the place to go. Universal always seemed kind of like the desperate park. Like for a long time, it'd be like they would have a promotion like pay once and you can go all year for free. And like Disney was always the opposite. I think the fact that it was so expensive, you're like, you're the better one.
Yeah, Universal, Harry Potter, I feel like kind of reinvigorated it a little bit, but the vibe there is always strange.
And you can drink there, which I think completely changes the dynamics.
Yes, that is like, I'd say the strangest thing is that like everybody's drunk.
Yeah.
And it's like, I Love Lucy, like in character walking down the street in like Simpsons world. It feels like this like weird collab of like a lot of brands that don't feel like they're like, like why is Homer and Lucy in like the same universe?
Yeah, there's something just a little, I agree. Though I did love back in the day, they used to have a I Love Lucy and I Do Love Lucy.
For
one
sure,
of my favorite things. Had like a recreated her living room where you couldn't even go in it. You could literally just stand like at a plexiglass window. That, oh, this isn't real, but cool. Here's the fake I Love Lucy living
why
room.
protect it if it was just like made by a team?
Yeah.
Let you sit on the couch. There's a lot of that fun stuff. There's like, there was a backdraft thing that had like, you know, fire. The ET ride was like an iconic
oh my God, the
ride
ET
there
ride.
where you ride on a bike and you're like in ET world. The Jurassic Park ride is awesome.
Okay, so you just made me think of two things. One, the ET ride, very quickly. You would give your name at the beginning of the ride. And as the year, like at the end of the ride, ideally in a perfect world, when that ride came out, it'd be like, thank you, John, Marissa, Alistair, David. And as the years went on, that technology was never updated. And so it would just be like,
I think that was me.
That was me. Did you hear it? And then the other thing that made me think of, my friend Christine and I years ago went on the Jurassic Park ride, which is a pretty tame ride, but it has what I consider a terrifying fall at the end.
Well, Steven Spielberg got off before the drop.
I bet he did. I bet
Boo hole.
He's slithered into his boo hole.
That's right.
And there's a picture of my friend. We went with a group of people, and they put like the digital pictures up afterwards. And like everyone on that ride has their hands up. Everyone's like happy and fun. And we are both white knuckled holding to our thing, like our eyes clenched shut, just terrified.
It's very scary.
Of that ride.
So Hollywood's trying again. What's happening? Get it together, guys.
They made it 4 years and then they shut her down.
Why?
Shut
Why?
her down. 2000, they go down. Bye-bye, Hollywood. Will that be the last time?
Well, I know not because I saw a commercial like yesterday.
Hey, no spoilers. All right, so 2000, Hollywood shuts it down again. But what happens over in Orlando is they're Orlando. So Hollywood shuts down. At this point, Orlando is up to 19 nights.
Oh my God.
3 houses, 2 of which are dual, so 5 experiences. And they introduced their first original icon. And this is what I'm talking about at the beginning of the show when I was like, you got to check out the wiki because this stuff's just... It's off the rails. So they have this first original icon. He's the star of Halloween Horror Nights, and he's this creepy clown. His name is Jack, and they give him this backstory, which is truly, utterly psychotic.
Okay.
Like, it's not like, oh, Jack the Clown from Universal. He fell in a vat of acid and survived, and now he's on a rampage. So I'm going to give you the backstory of Jack the Clown, known as John Jack Schmidt. Okay, so he's a clown with a huge ego.
Oh.
He considers himself a star performer. He loves puns and one-liners like, you guys ready to get jacked? Stuff like that.
Kind of a crusty energy.
He likes to be the center of attention, and he's jealous of anyone that steals attention or the spotlight. All right. Okay. So that's kind of who he is. He's born in a sanitarium in the late 1800s to an abusive family.
Okay.
He runs away and becomes a clown in a carnival freak show. He loves to entertain children, but he's also a twisted murderer. The police start to close in on him, and Jack begs his boss, Dr. Oddfellow, a little on the nose, to help him keep his secret. He has murdered 13 children, and he has stuffed them in trunks. His boss, who is also crazy and also murders people, the reason he murders people is to strengthen his own mystical power and to extend his life. He's like, no way, bro. And he's like, actually, I'm so pissed that you've been bringing police close to me. He kills Jack. But before Jack dies, he's able to stab or puncture Dr. Oddfellow, spilling Dr. Oddfellow's blood onto him.
Which is a mystical fluid because he has mystical powers.
You're listening. That will come into play later.
Okay.
Oddfellow puts Jack and the kids' bodies into the Carnival House of Horrors as part of an exhibit. Ooh. Jack ends up stuffed inside of an old Jack in the Box prop, very appropriate, and he is sealed away. Years later, the carnival's sold, and over time it gets lost. Now we're in 1980, 60 years later. The BBC...
BBC are in this backstory?
Oh, yeah, the BBC are in this story.
BBC, World News Tonight, a spooky trunk has been discovered.
I mean, basically. They're actually making a documentary about the dark rides of America. Okay. And they come across the House of Horrors in a Louisiana junkyard. So the crew pries it open and goes inside, and everything in it is old and faded, and it smells. And there's a bunch of trunks and a large box that looks like a kid's toy that spells out Jack.
Don't open those.
Well, you should have told the cameraman that, because the cameraman finds a large crank on the side of the box, and he starts to turn it. And it starts to play this clunky musical melody. Then the music stops. The camera light goes off. The crank starts spinning on its own.
Okay.
The top flies open, and the decomposing body of Jack, attached to a spring, pops out. So the police investigate, and they find all 13 dead kids and Jack, and they send them to the coroner for further examination. But the van carrying Jack's body, which is still in the box, by the way, disappears in the Louisiana swamp in a freak accident.
Freak accident? They're skipping over what that accident was? You left in every other detail. What about the documentary?
I'm glad you asked. Later that week, the bodies of the BBC cameraman and host are found mutilated.
Oh, no.
Urban legends start to form. Everyone believes that Jack is searching for Dr. Oddfellow for revenge. Jack will reward anyone who turns his crank and releases him from his toy tomb. Now we're in the year 2000.
Okay.
Universal, my voice. The story of Jack has stolen my voice. Universal Studios somehow buys the old props from the House of Horrors, including Jack's box. A Universal employee, aware of the urban legend, wants to see if they're true. Come
why?
On. Why? He cranks open the box, unleashes Jack on Halloween, who becomes the host of Halloween Horror Nights for the first, but certainly not the last time.
Okay.
Oh, and you remember that blood from Dr. Oddfellow that shed onto Jack during the struggle?
The mystical blood, sure.
It made him immortal, turning his broken body and corrupt soul into an eternal maniacal terror.
Wow. I have one question.
Oh, boy.
Who is Matt Damon playing? The clown
or
the
Dr.
Oddfellow?
Oddfellow. Mm-hmm. Or both.
He could do both.
Matt Damon is both. The movie's just called Both.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wow.
There you go, babe. If you want to know about the caretaker, director, or any of the other tons of icons, please go to the wiki.
Okay, did this save the event?
Well, this is Orlando. They were already like...
Oh, my God.
This wasn't even Hollywood, but I'm glad you bring that up, because my next bullet point, 2006, Hollywood tries again.
Oh, my God. Just like Jack, they will not be killed.
Okay, so Hollywood, they've had 3 strikes. They are desperate to make this work.
Sure.
Enter John Murdy.
Wait, do you think that the Orlando guys are mean to the Hollywood guys about it? On their phone calls?
Yeah, I think they were probably bullies.
They're like, oh man, we're bumping up to 19 nights. It's just pumping, bro.
How's your tram? Everyone survive? They're just always harping on that one guy that, that would be sad.
That would be sad. You're right. Those bullies in Orlando shouldn't do that. That's mean.
That is mean. So enter John Murdy. What a cute name to be in the Hollywood business.
John Murdy?
It's like a cute way of saying murder.
Oh, it is, yeah.
I just committed a little murdy.
Oh, yeah, nothing to fuss about.
Nothing to fuss about, just a murdy. But he's dead, right? Yeah, he's dead. I committed a murdy. It's cute, but gruesome. All right. We love John Murdy. This guy, he grew up on horror movies. He saw Frankenstein at the age of 4 years old.
Oh my God, those parents.
I mean, it was 1977.
Sure, it might have been a little bit more tame.
He sees Frankenstein at the age of 4, and it makes him cry.
Of course.
Because he's sympathetic to Frankenstein.
Oh.
This guy loves this stuff. He loves the monsters of it. At age 10, he starts making his own haunted houses in his parents'.
It's actually called Frankenstein's monster. So was the kid sympathetic to the doctor or the monster?
I think the monster, because the way it was written, I think we were supposed to be surprised.
Oh, okay.
That's who he was sympathetic. If he was just sympathetic to the person that everyone's sympathetic to, that seems like a really dull inclusion.
Sure.
He was so sad when Bambi died. It would be like, God, I really felt for that hunter. He starts making his own haunted houses. He's inspired by all of Universal's classic monsters, Dracula, Mummy, Frankenstein, all those guys. Then his father shuts down his haunted houses at the age of 14 when he catches him running around the house with a real butcher's knife.
Oh.
So they were good parents.
These parents are not as on the ball as they should be.
Gen X, baby. You have no idea what we went through. Running around with a butcher knife seems tame.
That's nothing.
But his houses had become very popular. There would be lines, he said, of 200 people waiting to go through his haunted houses.
Gosh.
He would build everything himself. He was just really into it.
So fun.
He was always begging his parents to take him to Universal Studios because he's like, this is where these movies are actually made. Maybe I'll run into the Mummy. He just loved it. 1989, right after college, he gets a summer job at Universal, of course, as a tour guide on the studio tour. He eventually works his way up to the Universal's creative team and becomes a show writer. He helps create the Revenge of the Mummy ride and reinvents the studio tour in 2000. 2004, he's living in Orlando. Even he's later Hollywood.
Get your act together.
Goes to Orlando and he gets a call and they're like, bro, you got to come back to Hollywood. We got to make this Halloween thing work.
Yeah, you're the only one who can do it.
You are the right guy. Can you
Unleash
do
the
this?
beast.
And he's like, you guys, it's keeps failing. It's it wasn't oh, sure, let me come in and do this. It's no reason to believe that it's going to succeed.
Sure, he's a reluctant hero.
He's a reluctant hero. He decides to do it, and in 2006, he brings it back to Hollywood. He makes it a much smaller event than what Orlando had grown to. It's 7 nights, there's one haunted house and a few scare zones, but it's popular enough that he decides he can put his master plan into place, which is licensing. Licensing.
Yeah, baby, get that cash.
He's like, look, we're in Hollywood. We're Universal Studios. He decides to partner with filmmakers in creating the haunted houses and the scare zones, using there's so many IPs that would be such a natural blend into this world.
Of course. They're making up their own stupid generic characters.
Did I tell you the story of Jack? Here, let me read through that again. So they've got Jurassic Park. They have The Shining, Stranger Things.
Oh my God, come on.
I mean, obviously, those are some newer ones.
Yeah.
But let's just say the hiatus days of Uni Studios Hollywood Halloween Horror Nights are over.
Wow.
So
You made it.
how does he do this every year? Let's walk through it. He starts planning every horror night 18 months in advance.
Oh my God.
So the one that's going on right now, they started planning in March of 2023.
Oh, wow.
In March, John, the director from Orlando, the marketing and licensing partners all come to the table with ideas. Everyone throws stuff out. They've done this so long now that they have filmmakers that are coming to them and saying, hey, I've got whatever, Quiet Place coming out. Here's like some of the story beats. Here's what I think you could do with a house. It's everyone wants to be a part of it now.
That's cool.
So he's all about like all of it, like all the pieces of it. He talks about all the props that they make, and he wants to make sure the props have like maximum scare effect. He creates original musical scores for everything. He works with the characters. Like he'll come in and like they have a dress rehearsal, and everyone like they want everyone to be so amped up into it. Another thing I didn't realize is all of these people that are performing these things, one, how physical it is, but you have to scare people in the same way. Like I always thought it was kind of just random. Like, you're in that room, you jump out and scare people. But they all have like, he has written out like probably like, this whole back page of like,
roar. And then you're like, roar. R-A-A-A-A-A-W-W-R-R-R-R-R-R-R. That's your line for the show. Roar!
Billy, I'm only hearing 4 W's and 2 R's there. Could we stretch that out?
Oh, shit. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Do you think... Oh, never mind. I got it. I'll figure it out.
See, I love that is how I think most people probably picture the direction would be, but he's probably like, with like that Jack story, he's probably like, so when you jump out, here's what's really going on through your head.
Sure, yeah.
When you were young, your mom was like murdered and they found her body in the woods, and that's your jumping off point.
I love that.
But these people have to do this every 5 to 10 seconds.
Ooh.
You want every person to feel like they're the only one. Like,
of course.
You're not just like, rah,
you can't phone it in.
Rah.
Hot tea and lemon in that break room.
Man, I'm losing my voice just talking about this show. I can't imagine being a character. Or could I?
I think you could.
But I would say that everything Jon has done has been worth it, because ever since he started, it grows every year. It's really kind of like the hot place to go now. People love to be there and try to figure out how they can see all the experiences. And it's never gone on hiatus again, as I mentioned.
Wow.
It's estimated that Universal spends $100 million a year between the 4 parks to stage these. They bring in they don't give out numbers, but in 2022, it's estimated that they brought in $575 million. Some numbers from last year from Florida, just to give you kind of an example, they hired 1,300 characters, and they had about 30 to 35,000 people visiting every single night, which is like 1.5 million visitors over the season.
Wow.
And then that's kind of it. In 2011, Universal Studios in Singapore began doing their horror nights. 2012, they started doing it in Japan. So it's now those 4 cities that really take care of this. Japan does it for like 60 days or something crazy like that. And then the last thing I wanted to throw in, last year, Universal announced that all of these have been such a boon to their revenue that they're opening in Las Vegas a permanent like Halloween experience.
You could go through a haunted house on Easter Sunday?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you should. It's a 110,000 square foot venue.
God.
It's going to be open year round. I think it opens next year. And it's going to showcase some of Universal's classic characters. They're going to work with modern horror story collaborators and filmmakers like they do at the park. It's going to be similar attractions that you see at the parks. And so, yeah, I would say it's become one of the biggest Halloween themed events in the country, if not world, if not universe. So that's what I have on Universal Halloween Horror Nights.
That is so fun.
Now that you know about the like tortured history of what it took for it to be in Hollywood as a permanent attraction, what it went through in Florida, that someone has died from it, that they have licensees for things that you love, like Stranger Things, one of your favorite IPs. Would you say that Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights is on brand or off brand for you?
Well, Jon, for about the last 20 minutes, I'm nodding, I'm listening, but in my mind, I'm thinking, well, how much more is VIP? What are the tiers? Do I get to jump the line? Is it just early admission? I am going. I'm going to go. Mark my words. You're going. Alistair's going. David, my hubby, is going. We are all going to go to Halloween Horror Nights, and I won't take no for an answer, Al. So yes, it is on brand for me. This is absolutely right up my alley. And I feel like you have to do one frightening thing, or it's like, did Halloween even happen if nobody jumped out at you and said, roar?
I mean, I prefer just to lay on the couch and watch The Great Pumpkin.
So, Jon, what about you? Is Halloween Horror Nights on brand for you?
You know, I'm glad you asked that. I wasn't expecting that question, but it's nice to sometimes get a curveball. I would say going into this, I didn't know if it was on brand for me
Mm-hmm.
because I don't like super scary things and I don't drink and I hate being around people.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't like a lot of scary IPs, but you know what? After I've learned more about it, and I really admire just the tenacity of Hollywood to not give up. Because isn't that the story that we're all told when we come to this crazy town?
When you hopped off the bus with your little suitcase and
Don't give up. Don't give up. Even if someone dies, just keep going.
That's right.
And I do admire people that are really seem born to do what they're doing. And I do think that is the story with John Murdy. I will say that, yes, it is on brand for me.
Wow, I love that. This has been a fantastic ride. And I hope if you're listening to this, that it's helped you get in the spooky season spirit.
Yeah.
Before we go, let's give some shout outs, or should I say some scream outs.
Ooh.
These are some folks who left us lovely 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts with some kind words. Min KT says, incredible research. We have great chemistry, and you can tell we are friends.
Aw, she's right. That is incredible research.
And Super Amy 0717, after her appearance on Doughboys, knew she had to start listening because the friendship between Marissa and Jon is just too great. Do you hear that, Jon?
Aw.
Our friendship is great.
We fooled them all.
And Erica Hasanick listened to us again, came from Doughboys, and followed the pod later that day. Has binged the entire podcast and shared episodes of the pod with several friends. So yeah, if you like the show, tell some of your friends. Send them a link and say, hey, this pod has me chuckling.
Especially if you know like a brand that they like that we've done. Just send them a link to that one. Give them that one for free.
That's how it starts, right?
That's how it starts. And they'll be like, oh man, Converse was fun. Oh, wow, they talk about IKEA. Oh, I shouldn't, but maybe I'll check that out too. Well, that's fun. Thank you for all those Apple reviews. I'm going to do our Insta Egg shout outs. If you're new to the pod, every Wednesday on our Instagram story, I post what I call an Insta Egg. It is a little puzzle that is a clue to what that week's brand is going to be. If you can solve the puzzle and shoot us the answer, not only will I DM you a Brand Freak badge that you can display proudly on your computer, but you will also enter the Wheel of Freaks where you get a chance to get a shout out. We give 5 shout outs a week. So this week's Insta Egg was for the episode for Pog. A lot of people got it right. More people are playing than ever before. It grows every week, and that makes me so happy. This one was pretty straightforward. If you didn't know what Pogs were, it was probably harder to get because it was really just a close-up picture of Pogs and a song called Slammin'. A lot of people got it. It brought a lot of nostalgia for people. A lot of people were talking about the Pogs that they had given up, that they missed, and it was fun to see everyone reminiscing about it. So the shout-outs for this one go to Bailey Riddle, Beatriz, Jeff Byron, Byrne, Alicia Hanvey, and Aaron Powell. So congrats for guessing it correctly. And thanks for playing because it's a lot of fun for us.
So if you'd like to play Jon's Insta Egg game, or you want to see some behind the scenes stuff from the show, some videos from the pod, check us out on Instagram at OnBrandThePod, or on TikTok at OnBrandThePodcast. We love to hear from you guys. If you have any Halloween Horror Nights thoughts, we would love to chat with you there. Jon is very eager to chat all night long.
Eager. I am lonely. Just so you know, whenever you're chatting with me, I'm probably laying in bed.
Is there anything more scary than loneliness?
Than a lonely podcaster.
And with that, we'll be back next week with an all-new episode.
And remember, we may go off topic, but we will always be on brand.
Good boo.
Bye.